Hello, welcome to today's class. So in today's class we will talk about shared memory programming. So we have two parallel programming models. The first one is shared memory programming, the other one is message passing. So in the next few class we'll first look at shared memory programming and then we will talk about message passing. So in shared memory programming we will have multiple process or they may be threads, and those process will communicate using some shared variables in a common memory. So this programming model is applicable for multi-core programming because in a multi-core processor we can execute this different process in different cores, and the different cores they all have a shared RAM. Although the cache may be shared or may not be shared, but the RAM will be shared by all the different cores. So this programming model can be used for multi-core programming, and as I said, these may be different process or they may be different threads, and so we can do shared memory programming using multiple process or using multiple threads. In today's class we will look at multi-process programming, and this is the first simple program with which we'll try to understand how to create multiple process. So here in this program we are using a library called shmlib.h, and this library is provided in appendix C of the book Introduction to Parallel Processing, and this library has been written using the POSIX API of Unix, which means the programs that we discuss today you will be able to run them in your laptop also if you have for example Linux installed. But be careful, as I found out this library had a lot of errors, and I corrected most of them and I was able to make them work for my demo programs. I will share this file, the corrected file, through Piazza, so you'll be able to also use it. So now in this program this is how you create multiple process. So this function create process will create 10 new child process. See, when you start executing this program, when you execute the program from the command line, for example, already a parent process is created by the operating system, and the parent process will start executing one by one all the statements of this program. So first the parent process will execute the printf statement, I am here, and then the parent process will proceed to execute create process, and when the parent process execute create process, after the execution of this create process we will have in total 11 process. So one process is the parent process plus 10 new child process will be created, so in total we will have 11 process. So this call will create 10 new process, and usually the parent process will have the ID 0 and the child processes will have ID from 1 up to 10. Now once the child process are created, after the completion of this statement, parent process will go ahead and execute the printf statement, the next printf statement, and the child processes will also start executing from the printf statement. So which means the first two lines will be executed only by the parent process, whereas from the next line onwards all the remaining lines will be executed by all the processes, by the parent process and the 10 child process. So all the child process will start executing from this line onwards. And so when I run this program, this is the output I get. As you can see, the first line I am here is printed only once because this line is executed only by the parent process. And then the next printf statement will be executed by all the 11 process by the parent process and the 10 child process. So we see it being printed 11 times. Now note the order in which the child process gets executed. This order is not fixed. It depends on how the operating system schedules the 11 process. So here operating system scheduled the child process number 1 first, and then child process number 3 followed by child process number 2. The parent process got the chance here, and so this is how the processes got scheduled, and that's why we see this is how the printf statements are getting printed. And if I run this same program one more time, it's no guarantee that we'll get the same order. For example, when I run it for the second time, this is the order in which the processes were scheduled. Okay, so once we see how to create process, now let us try to write a parallel program to add these 4 numbers in an array. So the strategy that we will follow is we will use one process to add the first 2 numbers. So one process will create the partial sum 3, and we will use another process to add the last 2 numbers. So another process will create the partial sum 7, and then we will use one of the process to collect this partial sum and calculate the final sum, which is 10. And this is the program that we have written to add the 4 numbers. So in this program we first define 2 variables, sum0 and sum1. So sum0 will store the partial sum 1 plus 2, and sum1 will store the partial sum 3 plus 4. And then we create the 2 process. So we create one new process, so that after this we will have a parent process and a child process, in total 2 process. Now the process with id equal to 1 will execute. So this line will be executed only by the process whose id is 1. So as we already know, parent process have the id 0. So the child process, so it is the child process which will execute this line. So this line will not be executed by the parent process, because for parent process id will be equal to 0. So the child process computes the partial sum 1 plus 2, which is 3, and it will store it in sum 0. And whereas the parent process, so this line will be executed by the process whose id is not equal to 1. So the id of parent process is 0. So this line will be executed only by the parent process. So the parent process will calculate the partial sum 3 plus 7, and it will store it in sum 1. So as you can see, the child process is calculating the sum 1 plus 2, and the parent process is calculating the sum 3 plus 4. After this, this is a new call that we see. It's called join process. So after this, both the process will execute the join process. So what the join process do is, after the completion of this function, only one of the process will exist, the other process will be terminated. And it is usually, and the way that this library has been written, only the parent process will continue to exist, whereas the child process will be terminated. And what happens is, whichever process completes its computation first will come and execute the join process, and when it comes to join process, it will wait for the other process to arrive. So the next process, the second process, after completing its computation, will also arrive at join process, and once both the process arrive, one of the process will be terminated, whereas the other process will continue to exist and execute the next printf statement. So the printf statement will be executed by only one of the two processes, not by both. So what if we have in total 5 process? Then we will say join process 5. In that case, one by one all the 5 process will come and execute the join process, and once all the 5 process arrives, 4 of the process will be terminated and 1 will continue to exist, and it will execute the remaining statements of the program. So this is how the join process works. So here both the child process and parent process will perform its computation of sum 0 and sum 1, and both the process will arrive at join process, and after this the child process will be created and the parent process will go ahead and try to print the sum by taking the value sum 0 and sum 1. But the problem is we don't get the correct output. We get the output 7. So this program is not correct, and the problem with this program is that these two variables sum 0 and sum 1, each process will have their own private copies of these two variables. So your parent process will have sum 0 and sum 1, its own copy of sum 0 and sum 1, and the child process will also have its own copy of sum 0 and sum 1. So when the child process calculates the partial sum 1 plus 2, this partial sum 3 will be stored in the sum 0 of the child process, which will not be visible to the parent process. And similarly, when the parent process computes the partial sum 3 plus 4, which is 7, and the 7 will be stored in sum 1, that 7 will be stored in the copy of sum 1 in parent process. So for child process, sum 1 will continue to be 0, and that's the problem. Each child process is only modifying their private copies. So when the parent process tries to print out the sum 0 and sum 1, for parent process sum 1 is 7, whereas sum 0 is still 0. So it will be 0 plus 7 and 7 will be printed. See, when we are updating sum 0, this sum 0, the sum 0 of the child process is getting modified to 3. For parent process it will remain as 0. So that's the problem with this program. These variables are not they are private variables for each process. Each process have their own copy. So how do we fix this problem? We can fix this problem using shared memory. And now the program looks something like this. So in this program we first declare pointers to shared memory. So we have two different pointers, sum 0 and sum 1, and then we allocate the shared memory here, and id1 and id2 are the identifiers for the two shared memory allocated. So this is how we allocate the shared memory. And then and now since sum 0 and sum 1 they are shared memory, both sum 0 and sum 1, the same sum 0 will be visible to the child process and also to the parent process, and same way the same copy of sum 1 will be visible to the parent process and also to the child process. After that we initialize the shared memory to 0, both the variables, and then we create we create one more new process so that we have two processes after this. And the parent process now creates the partial sum 1 plus 2 and stores it in the shared variable. So since we are storing the shared variable, this partial sum will be visible to the child process also. And now the child process computes the partial sum 3 plus 4 and stores it again on the shared variable. So since we are storing it in a shared variable, the new value will be visible to the parent process also. And then as earlier, we join the two process, and this time we print, we will get the correct output. And of course we have to free the shared memory, and this is how we free the shared memory. And when we execute this program, we will get the correct output 10. So that's all for today. We saw how to do shared memory programming. We'll continue discussion on this for 2 or 3 more class. Okay, thank you.